So they ruled it a touchback. They have reversed it thanks to replay assist. And now Dallas starts at their own 1. Prescott to the air on first down. And out to the 10 goes George Pickens, trying to rip the ball out of his hands, but a 9-yard pickup on the play.
Defensive coordinator Charlie Ball, and now has kind of started to use them as chess pieces and move them around throughout the formation.
To the sideline, CeeDee Lamb with the grab and should have the first down at the 30-yard line.
It's all going to be based on the protection of this offensive line with this front. That includes the running backs. And with Javonte Williams out today, that'll be the big key.
And a little stumble out of his break. Prescott can't snag it, and Bobby Okereke grabs the loose football. It's a turnover by Dallas.
It really looks like we've got, contact with the center as the center reaches. I'm trying to see it, but I don't see anybody step on it. It really looks like Dak Prescott just lost his footing and then dropped the ball. Is there a... I don't see... Sometimes we'll see a guy that's got a hard reach and he'll step on that quarterback's foot, or the guard's pulling and he'll step on that quarterback's foot, but I really didn't see anything there. It looked like he just slipped coming out from under center.
8 straight games for the Giants with over 100 yards rushing. 155 in the win last week. Dart in the pocket, pressure comes, looking down the sideline for Hodgins, who was well covered. That pass incomplete. It's 4th down and 45-yard try for Ben Sauls, the 4th Giants kicker of the year. Jamie Gillen, the holder. And Sauls puts the Giants up early, 3-0. But everybody knows, and it's not even the elephant in the room, it's just they know that defense was a problem this year, and he said we've got to make changes. It's got to get better. Rumbling up the sidelines, Luke Schoonmaker with another Dallas first down.
That's something that's going to be missing today because you don't have Javonte Williams.
Here's Blue again. Cuts it up right through Big Blue. Blue inside the 10 and down near the 4. Dane Belton saves the touchdown. 1st and goal, Dallas. Pickens to the bottom of the screen. Lamb and Flanoy to the top of the screen. On 3rd down, fade for Pickens. Back of the end zone, incomplete. Shot. And Aubrey, now 38 straight made inside 50 yards. He ties this one at 3. On 2nd and 6. Dart over the middle, finds Darius Slayton, who turns upfield and has a Giants first down, which gives him 1st and 10 from midfield. Dart with pressure coming, gets rid of it. Oshesky up the sideline and out of bounds inside the Dallas 25.
There are plays to be made in this secondary. It's a lot of pieces in place that haven't had a lot of time playing together.
Here's Dart, lots of time. Now going to scramble. Dart on the run, down the sideline. He'll duck out of bounds. At the 10, it's 1st and goal. Running by. 3rd and goal. Dart. Pressure coming. Gets away from Clowney the first time, but not the second. Jadeveon Clowney, 6.5 sacks on the season. He signed in Dallas September 14th.
Jadeveon Clowney has kind of that same impact on the defensive guys. A wise veteran player to get some really good tips from.
35-yard try from Sauls is good. He's 2 for 2 today.
Continuing to play for the Cowboys next year. He said, I feel like I have so much more left in the tank. This season has really reinvigorated me, and I'm hopeful I can build upon this first year.
Here comes Cavante Turpin exploding down the sideline. Turpin on the run, caught from behind at the 15. Art Green with the touchdown-saving tackle, but Cavante Turpin so explosive. The Pro Bowl returner with another big one. And Blue buried in the backfield. Good penetration from Chauncey Golston. Blue up the middle. Blue the burst. His first NFL touchdown.
By Brock Hoffman, number 67. The guard, watch him pull the trap inside again, downhill. That is as well blocked a play that you will see down in the red zone in the run game.
Under first-year defensive coordinator Matt Eberflus. Dart will throw over the middle to Slayton. Slayton slips a tackle. Slayton's got a first down. And we talk about the struggles defensively. And the former Giant draft pick. Couldn't make the tackle on 3rd down, and now Tyrone Tracy bouncing to the outside, and Tracy twists forward for a 1st down. 3rd down and 5. They can get a 1st down at the 1. It's Dart looking left, dodging the traffic with a pump fake, and down he goes at the 5. So now Sauls looking for his 3rd field goal today. This from 23. Good snap, good hold, good kick. 10-9 Dallas midway through this 2nd quarter.
Yeah, it was very different. I mean, the way he commanded the sideline with his teammates, there was just a different style of leadership.
Jump pass out to Flanoy, a lot of blockers. He's got a 1st down at the 45.
And now he's used that to get some opportunities in the pass game.
Here's Blue on 2nd and 10. Room to run. He's got a 1st down. Blue, he had 65 yards rushing this season. He has 72 in the 1st half. Prescott over the middle on the run. It's Bryn Spanford, and Brevin Spanford down to the 15-yard line.
Again, there's a guy out there, George Pickens. You got a little bit of help inside on that slant.
He looked Pickens' way, now on the roll. He'll throw to Pickens at the goal line. There's a flag down at the 14.
On the inside with Dane Bell, you can see right there, he's coming that way. I like what George Pickens does right here. He knows he's got to be on the other side of that 1st down marker, so he's not giving up too much ground, but they couldn't get it completed.
Peyton with the coverage to help bat it away, and New York takes over.
We got some things that are happening around this defense, but we're only going to make it worse if we're stepping out of our responsibility to try and help someone else.
On 3rd and 5, fits it in to Olszewski, who secures it for the 1st down for New York. Dart with time, jumps that pass to Olszewski, and down the sideline he goes. Inside the 25 and down to the 23, where Reddy Stewart makes the tackle. 23-yard pickup. 3rd and 16. He wanted the screen and now flips it out to Bellinger. Daniel Bellinger on the run. How about this one? Touchdown, Giants. The most unorthodox touchdown pass of the young career of Jackson Dart.
To get the quarterback down, and you miss out on that, you got to give him a little bit of a help there, Daniel Bellinger. But now that flip to him brought his eyes and his angle towards the opposite side of the field. Probably lucky to get away from that face mask right there, but you can see how that flipped.
Dak Prescott's day and season is done. They're going to go with Joe Milton in the 2nd half.
Yeah, kind of surprised to see that right now with them trailing at halftime. And really, I didn't feel Dak was under pressure or there was fear that he might take a big hit. I think the line has done a good job protecting. They haven't had a lot of plays to get into any type of rhythm. The run game's been good with Jaden Blue. So if the plan was to let him chase the passing yardage record this year and put a number out there for Matthew Stafford, and you kept him clean in the 1st half, I'm a little bit confused.
3rd and 16. Blue has lost 6 yards on the first 2 carries of the 2nd half, and now Milton from the end zone in trouble. Milton flushed. He's going to tuck it and scramble all the way out near the 19-yard line.
You've got the keys to the car. It's a Ferrari. Go drive it. He said when we started to see the personality of Patrick Mahomes come out, that's when they had success in KC. He wants that for Jackson.
Dart with pressure from Clowney, able to get away, and he slides down, and then pouncing on the pile was Quinnen Williams, and that's going to tack 15 onto the end. It's today. And it's Tracy hopping over the pile. A nice juke to the outside, and Tracy with a good run out of bounds at the Dallas 27. He gets 15. Dart finds Olszewski, and Olszewski gets the penalty yardage back and the rest of the yardage needed for a 1st down. They need the 7-yard line for the 1st. Dart looking for the end zone. Open is Tracy. It's a Giants touchdown.
Let's see what happens in here. This is the 2 guys that seem to be in the middle of it.
So quarterback gets hit. Looked like James Houston got to Dart. Van Roten and Kenny Clark were tangled up initially.
Yeah, but I didn't think the hit was late. I didn't think the hit was low.
Oh, and then there's a shove from Quinnen Williams.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense, number 92. That penalty is declined. Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense, number 41, pulling the helmet off an opponent. That penalty is accepted, will be enforced on the try. Dallas, number 41, has been disqualified for the remainder of the game.
Oh, so Donovan Ezeraku, who had a sack earlier that was negated by a penalty, he has been ejected.
To go for 2 from the 1 yard line.
That's his hand.
41 right there.
Yep. And when you yank it off of the head of an opponent, that's always going to draw attention. And Donovan Ezeraku, his rookie season comes to an end with 9:48 to play in the third.
Wildcat.
And taking the snap, faking the handoff. Singletary thought about throwing. Now he will throw. And it's caught by Darius Slayton. Mike Kafka is not leaving anything in the playbook today.
You had to come out and play your tails off and show that this defense can be good. And you haven't done that this afternoon at all.
Milton with some touch floats it in to Ryan Flanoy, and Flanoy out of bounds at the Giants 40. There is a flag down on the near sideline at the opposing 40.
Strength and how far he can throw the ball, that showed you some touch right there.
And that little shot put pitch. 3rd and 13. Quick swing Flanoy, and Flanoy down just inside the 40-yard line. Big 57-yard try for Brandon Aubrey. 35 for 43 in his career from 50-plus. And Aubrey's kick is no good. You have carrying this guy with you.
Not at all.
But I really, a tip of the cap to Daryl Johnston. Congratulations to you, my friend. 25 years. Here's to many, many more. Dart. Nice catch by Tracy on the screen with blockers in front. And Tracy spins and twists his way for a first down. And then the ball comes out. He has the first down, straining for that extra yard. The ball pops out, and Jadeveon Clowney recovers.
I tell you, that it's the epitome of what everybody talks about with Jadeveon Clowney this year is the hustle downfield. Here he is coming off the edge, working to get to the quarterback.
On 4th and 1, Milton will keep it himself. Got a block and a first down and plenty more. Milton fighting his way along the sidelines and out of bounds at the 24. Rico Payton ran it. On 1st down and 10. Milton sets up the screen for Maffa. Maffa up the sideline, and Maffa with the ball popping out at the end of the play at the 16-yard line. The officials are going to say fumble, and it's Giants football.
To see if he's on top of one of his teammates or one of the defenders, and that keeps the play alive before the ball comes out, or if he is down. There he's down right there, so this will be coming back.
This is going to stay Dallas ball. So the expedited review has the 4th quarter with a 2nd down and goal to go for Dallas. The handoff to Phil Maffa. He's into the end zone for his first NFL touchdown. It was Jaden Blue in the first half, and now Phil Maffa gets his first taste of the end zone to start the 4th. One thing we couldn't capitalize on is situations at the end of games. We couldn't close games out. And again, this team lost 7 games decided by 1 score this season. 2nd and 8. Up the middle. Tracy, room to run, and he's tripped up across the 15. An ankle tackle from Josh Butler, but a pickup of 20 for Tyrone Tracy. 3rd down and 9, 10th play of the drive. And it's Tracy. And Tracy will push the pile down near the 12.
The Giants have run for over right at 130 yards now, 5 yards to carry. That's good work up front by that offensive line.
And the extra point is good, or the three-pointer is good, rather, for Ben Sauls.
Giants hope they can mimic what they did this year when you talk about the Bears and the Patriots.
As Milton throws it, it's intercepted by Okereke. Down he goes at the 33. Second pick thrown this year by Joe Milton, and he threw it right to Bobby Okereke for his second interception of the season.
Linebacker's going to the flat, linebacker's going down the seam, and he's going to throw it right to Bobby Okereke, who goes down the seam. You can see right there, he's in perfect position, and you wonder what Joe Milton was seeing, and that's one of the things that Brian shot.
So Jackson Dart, the offense, right back to work on first down. Here's Tracy trying to get to the edge. He's got the corner. Tracy down the sideline and out of bounds at the 21. An individual 100-yard rusher. He's 2 yards short of that. Dart on the run, chased by guess who? It's Clowney again. On third down, Dart throws to Tracy. He's got the first down and out of bounds at the 6. It'll be first and goal for the Giants as they second and goal. It's Singletary picking his way up the middle, and Singletary down in for the touchdown.
And, you know, that's where the block is, but he's able to kind of jump to the outside. And then, how many times do we see this? It's like the mobile tush push. And maybe some different reasons why they were in last place in the NFC West last year. Injuries, a lot of other things that went along with that. But they were able to right the ship and make the playoffs this year as well.
And on 3rd and 10, the incompletion in the direction of Jonathan Mingo. And Milton wanted to hand that one off. There was no one there. And that's sort of a fitting end to the Cowboys season. The final play of this game, and the Giants beat the Cowboys to close the regular season. That'll do it for us here in New York.